Hey guys, Mike here from Binny Outdoors. If you guys have been following my channel at all, you know I've been playing around making some soft plastic swim baits like this. Well, I wanted to try to experiment with something a little bit different. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take this right here, Gambler Pro Rattling Weight. Now what these are, got one open right here. It's a bullet weight, but it actually has rattles inside of the weight. So it adds an element of rattle to some weight. What we're going to try to do is we're going to take this, we're going to combine it with this so I get a belly weighted swim bait with a rattle built in. Now the reason why I'm using this and not just your typical rattles that come with, like, say, a jig or any of those, that's because those are made of plastic, and I'm afraid with the plastisol it's going to melt those shells. So I found these weights made by Gambler. These are made out of brass, so I definitely know they won't melt. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go out to the bait shack and we're going to see if we can pour a swim bait with a weight inside. So for the sake of time, I've already pre-mixed the color. So what this is this is Cinnamon Do It Molds X2 colorant, and it's got a little bit of black fleck in it. So it's essentially a green pumpkin Kitech Easy Shiner color, which is a tried, tested, true color for me. The first thing I have to do is inject this plastisol in here to get the initial swim bait. Now after I pull that swim bait out, what I want to do is I want to figure out exactly where I want that weight to line up, and then I'm going to cut the swim bait so that I can have an exposed area to try to add that weight to. So what I figured out while I was doing this was that I couldn't just shove the weight into the plastisol. It wasn't going to penetrate it. It was just kind of flex around it. So then I had this idea of basically what I was going to do is I was going to take my scissors and cut into the plastisol. So right here is where I figured out I'll take my scissors, stuff it in there, and just kind of work it around to make a little pocket inside that bait. It gave me a little hole to be able to shove that weight inside and have it sit right in the center, so that way I don't have the weight sticking out on either side, and it will be somewhat balanced in the middle of the bait where I want it for when I pour the second shot. This next part is a little tricky. You do have to get this bait lined up exactly back in the mold and make sure that there's no gaps. Make sure it's tight in there. Make sure it's going to seal up proper, because if it does not seal properly, you're going to end up with some flashing. It's going to not quite adhere properly. But once you get this lined up, close it up, everything is lined up where you need it to be, then you pour new plastisol over top. What I highly recommend is getting your plastisol extra hot, even hotter than you did the first time around, so that it will adhere to the already slightly cured plastisol, because if you don't do that, you will get like a little seam or a little crease. Alright guys, so this is how the bait came out. Now it did have a little bit of a two-tone on the nose there, so you can kind of actually tell where the two different cuts were. That's my fault because I let the plastisol darken a little bit. I kind of overcooked it, so that created that two-tone effect. I did learn that for the future, but that rattle is in there. It's right there. If you guys listen, it's definitely in there. It's definitely creating some weight in the bait. I can feel that this bait is significantly heavier than one that doesn't have the rattle in it. Now this is a 1/16 ounce weight that I purchased from Gambler's website. I don't know if you can buy them anywhere else, but it's something that I'm definitely going to play around with. I'm going to take a hook, nose hook this bait, probably like a circle hook or drop shot style hook, something with a light wire, and then just fish it straight up and see if it just gives it a little bit of a different appearance. See how it affects the action, and I'll let you guys know in a future video how that looks. But overall, I really think this might be a sneaky little deal that might work to help you catch fish. I want to thank you guys for coming along with me. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and as always, let's get out there, catch more fish.